welcome everyone to the main event, Figure Federation. I am the captain of the Jakk'd brand, Troy, and with me, as always, is the captain of the Overdrive brand. He is Greg. What's up, Greg?
What up?
It is the go-home editions of the Monday Night War, man. We are on week 4, and the next show you will get from us is actually this Sunday on the 29th. It will be our first official pay-per-views. You've got Ignition. I've got Rage in a Cage. I'm excited for it, man.
Yeah, it took me forever to finalize it. I had three finalizing mine. I had 3 different drafts. So
yeah, I've got just the one draft, but I've reorganized and put this here, put that there. I'm still not done with it, man. So it's I've got that set up, and I've got a somewhat of an outline for the following night show, but that's not finalized either. So I have like directions of ways I'm going. I'm sure you do too.
Oh, I already have week month 2 already written too. So.
Oh wow, yeah, you're way ahead of me. Hey, in my defense, I've been writing a novel. I know, screw me. But I don't know. This is what we resort to in lockdowns, I guess. Lockdowns and whatever else. But for the rest of you out there, we are in the fantasy world where there is no pandemic, there is no lockdowns. This is the main event Figure Federation. We are on November 23rd, 2020. And like I said, November 29th is our first pay-per-views, Rage in the Cage and Ignition. Before we get into the future and the current, you want to run down segment by segment, blow for blow, what happened last week, what we were competing against on each show?
Yeah.
All right. Real quick, let's take our first break of the podcast, and then we will come back for that. All right. Seg 1 for the November 16th edition of Jakk'd. We have the New Age Outlaws coming out from the World Tag Team Title Tournament for Jakk'd, and they don't know who their mystery opponents will be, and it is said whoever the mystery opponents will be, if they are not on the roster, they will compete for the New Age Outlaws' jobs. And it turns out to be the APA. They come out, they basically beat the crap out of the New Age Outlaws. The Outlaws figure out a way to pull one out in the end, hit the spike pile driver on Farouk. They get the win. New Age Outlaws keep their job and move on to the next round of the World Tag Team Title Tournament. What is your Seg 1?
Segment 1 is Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Cedric, of course, wins. He helps Shelton up, tries to shake his hand. Shelton shoves him away, walks off. Corey Graves once again asks Gorilla if this is the guy of the future.
Oh, man. Shelton needed mama, man. All right. Segment 2. Shawn Michaels and Diesel are found. They're arguing in the backstage because Shawn accidentally cost Diesel his world title tournament match against Hulk Hogan the week before, and Diesel was blaming Shawn for them not winning in the tag title tournament, and they're getting into kind of a shoving match and an argument backstage. Razor breaks it up. He's like, yo, you guys are all friends. Calm down. Shake hands. Brothers got a hug. And become a theme on the show. But, and then Razor is like, hey, wish me luck. Up next, I'm taking on Kurt Angle. But that's my Seg 2. What's yours?
Seg 2 is Elias. He's in the ring. He's still mad about his guitar being stolen. He wants his guitar back. Drake Maverick all of a sudden comes out. He tells Elias that he represents Hurricane and that position is 9 cents to the law. Elias ends up beating the holy hell out of Drake Maverick. Lights go out. Hurricane arrives. He's tired of Elias being a bad mutant. He says they're going to fight. They're going to fight off. They're going to fight at Ignition. If Elias wins, he gets to have his guitar back. If he loses, Hurricane goes home to his home planet.
Home planet, nice.
Hurricane's nuts.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a loon if people haven't figured it out yet. But okay, Seg 3 for me is Razor Ramon versus Kurt Angle in the Jakk'd Heavyweight Title Tournament. He starts off pretty good, but, it's Kurt Angle. He out-wrestles Razor. Razor basically just uses punches and brawling to gain any bit of an advantage here. But Kurt ends up winning in the end with a grapevine ankle lock for the submission win. What's your Seg 3?
Seg 3, Viking Raiders crush 2 local jobbers. So they're not going to stop until they're not going to stop destroying everybody until they're the Overdrive Tag-Team Champions.
Nice. All right. Seg 4. We have Eric Bischoff is in the back with Don Callis, and he announces that he announces that at Rage in the Cage there is going to be a fatal 4-way match in the cage to crown the first ever junior heavyweight champion here on Jakk'd. It is going to be Flying Brian Pillman, Owen Hart, Chris Jericho, and Rey Mysterio. So we have our first official match booked for Rage in a Cage, and it's going to be a cage match. As I announced before, there's not going to be every match on the card is not going to be in a cage. Only a couple of them, kind of like Hell in a Cell. But right after Bischoff does that, we go to our second interviewer, Armando Alejandro Estrada. He's with Owen Hart, who kind of talks about, how excited he is for that opportunity, and he's going to be taking on Flying Brian up next. He talks about that a little bit, and then Bulldog comes up. He's like, "Why didn't you have my back at the tag title tournament?" He's like, "Hey, I did, but things happen. But now I got other things to concentrate on. Sorry, big man." And he walks off. His Bulldog looks like a sad puppy. All right, what's your Seg 4?
Seg 4. Matt Riddle versus Andrade. Rematch from last week. Riddle gets on the mic, says that he acknowledges that Andrade was a tougher bro last week. This week won't be the same. They have a match, goes back and forth. Andrade gets too eager to finish. Riddle capitalizes with the bro to sleep for the win.
All right. Let's see. Seg 5 for me. Owen Hart, Flying Brian Pillman in a junior heavyweight tournament, junior heavyweight match. And they're pretty good back and forth. It's obviously a different style of junior heavyweight kind of wrestling here. It's not like flip, flop, and fly. And in the end, Pillman misses with Air Pillman, but he lands kind of hard on his knee. That allows Owen to lock in the sharpshooter, and he makes him tap. After the match, they shake hands, but they also kind of stare each other down in the end. Seg 5 for Overdrive.
Seg 5 is AJ Styles comes out, talks about he got screwed out of the United States title. He's not worried about the past because he's getting his rematch at Ignition. And all of a sudden, Shelton Benjamin's music hits. He says he wants one more shot at winning tonight. Corey Graves questions Gorilla if he's still thinking Shelton is the future. Gorilla tells Corey that even Michael Jordan took a while to get a win. Shelton enters the ring. We go to commercial break.
All right. Seg 6. My Seg 6 and Seg 7 are connected, but we did this before. We're running them down one at a time, so you'll see the continuation of 6 after Greg. So Seg 6 for me is the actual match of Mankind versus The Rock in the Jakk'd Heavyweight Title tournament. It's a big brawl. Good stuff. Keep it going back and forth. There's, announce table spots and all that good stuff. But in the end, The Rock hits rock bottom on Mankind, pins him 1, 2, 3. The Rock moves on in the World Title Tournament. All right, now to Seg 6 for Overdrive.
All right, Seg 6 is the match. It's a back and forth battle. Lots of 2 counts, Pele kicks, super kicks, the usual stuff. They end up on the outside. Shelton Benjamin crawls in. As he's crawling in, AJ sets him up for a Styles Clash. Hits it. Gets the 1, 2, 3. Shelton Benjamin's angry. He watches the finish on the Tron. He walks past the announce table and stares at Corey and asks him if he finds this funny. Corey assures him it's not funny. So Shelton Benjamin has lost twice.
Serial. Seg 7 for Jakk'd. The Rock is celebrating his win. Mankind grabs a chair. He comes up behind The Rock. He's about to swing the chair and nail The Rock, but all of a sudden, the lights go out. When they come back on, The Undertaker is there behind Mankind, holding the chair, not letting it go, and he rips the chair out of Mankind's hand. He nails him with the choke slam, and then when Mankind gets back up, The Rock gets a rock bottom on him, and then The Rock and Undertaker stare each other down as The Rock does just bring it. The Undertaker rolls his eyes to the back of the head. All right, Seg 7 for you.
Okay, Tommaso Ciampa enters the ring. He says he saw that cute little match AJ Styles just had. He says it's not bad for a first one on Overdrive, even though he beat a guy who already lost earlier in the night. They come ignition. AJ's going to be humiliated once again. Murphy comes out. We have a match. In the middle of it, we hear Barry music hit. He never appears. Ciampa gets rolled up for a 2 count. As he kicks out, he rolls over the ref. The ref is recovering. Tommaso Ciampa hits a low blow, followed by Project Ciampa for the win. He's handed the title, and he looks around for Corbin, who's nowhere to be seen.
Nice. All right. I'm intrigued by that feud, by the way. It's kind of almost like a 3-way feud there. I dig it. Different components to it. It's not just straightforward. I always like that. All right. Seg 8. It is Stunning Steve Austin versus the British Bulldog. It is a singles match to qualify for the triple threat match on the November 30th edition of Jakk'd. That triple threat will be for the TV title. Bulldog's trying his hand at a second title here since he couldn't win the tag title. And Stunning Steve is trying to do something outside of the tag team as well, since Fly Brian's doing the junior heavyweight stuff. It's back and forth, catch as catch can kind of, like technical wrestling stuff. But in the end, Pillman does get involved. He rushes to the ring, distracts the Bulldog, and all that allows Austin to hit the stun gun, and Jackknife covers Bulldog for the win. Austin is going on to that triple threat for the TV title. Seg 8 for you.
I like that he's Stunning Steve, by the way. Okay, Seg 8. It's the contract signing. Gargano comes out, signs, says that Overdrive will belong to Johnny Wrestling in 2 weeks. Out comes Bobby Roode. He signs. It says that the champion's not going to be some angry little child, but a glorious Canadian. Out comes Pete Dunne, signs the contract, doesn't say a word. Corbin's music hits. He's nowhere to be seen. We hear the music again. All of a sudden, he's in the back, and he's brawling with Ciampa. Security breaks him up. Corbin is told to get to the ring, gets out there, says he's tired of the unsafe working conditions. Corey Graves says, if you're unhappy, you can go over to the Jack brand, but I don't think you legally can be there. Corbin says, maybe he will. Corey says, I guess we only have 3 men competing for the title. Corbin realizes what he's given up, signs the contract. As he does, Ciampa runs down to the ring and chases Corbin through the crowd.
All right. Seg 9. We get Don Callis approaching a very sad, very depressed British Bulldog in the locker room, asking him basically, it's like, well, you've sucked once before, you sucked this time, now what's next for you? Not in those words, but I'm paraphrasing. And Bulldog's like, things got off to a rocky start, I'm trying to keep my head up, get the F out of my locker room. And he's like, I want to be alone. So Callis leaves, and he takes his boots off, goes to put them up. You hear the door open behind Bulldog's back. He's like, look, told you to get the hell out. And we see a random hand slap him on the back. He turns happy. He's like, it's you! So anyway, that's Seg 9. I made it weird, but it was, that was my Seg 9.
I still think it's Paul Bear.
Oh, yes, Bulldog, we can do this!
Your Paul Bear sounds like Mickey Mouse giving a sermon.
That would, oh my god. Oh boy, isn't the Lord great? Oh!
And now you sound like you're someone squeezing your nuts. Okay. Seg 9 is we get a rundown of the Ignition Bay review. All 4 world title competitors are shown. Styles versus Ciampa for the U.S. title. Elias versus Hurricanes just announced. And the debut of the Major Brothers.
Hell yeah. All right. Seg 10. I've got Hulk Hogan versus Goldberg in the Jakk'd Heavyweight Title tournament. Ric Flair comes out on commentary before anything starts because Rick has an unhealthy obsession with Hulk Hogan at this point. Basically, it's just a hoss match. They beat the crap out of each other. They hit big moves on each other throughout. What happens for the end was Goldberg misses a spear into the corner, knocks the crap out of himself, but he barely rolls in before the 10 count. And as he's rolling in, Hogan drops a big leg. He pins him, he drops a big leg, then he drops another big leg, and then he asks the crowd, should I do it again? Then he hits a third big leg, and he pins him. 1, 2, 3. Hogan wins. What's your Seg 10?
Seg 10, we get the debut of the first overall draft pick for Overdrive, the Hardy Boys. They enter the ring. Their opponents are the debuting Lucha House Party, So I get 4 debuts in this one match. High-octane match. All 4 men are flying around the ring. All 4 men do some big moves. They all go down. We go to commercial break.
A hell of a way to close the show with a bunch of debuts. I mean, if that was real life, that would keep people intrigued and eyes on the screen.
Yeah, that was my thought, too.
Seg 11 here. Hogan celebrating, Hogan must pose, brother, as Goldberg's being checked out by the EMTs, because when he speared the ring post, he kind of hit his head and busted himself open, like he has done multiple times. So Ric Flair slides in behind Hogan with a chair, beats him with a chair a few times, and he wraps a chair around his leg, and he's going to drop a knee off the corner onto the chair and break Hogan's leg. But Flair's opponent for the next round of the tournament, Kurt Angle, comes out, and he chases Flair off, and Kurt kind of helps Hogan back to his feet, and Angle and Flair scream at each other to end the show. What's your finishing Seg 11?
It's the last part of the match. We're back from the break. Matt and Lindsay are in the ring. Matt hits a side effect for a 2 count. Hot tag. Metal League gets in, knocks off Jeff. Flying Hurricane Rana's all around. Jeff comes in after a hot tag, goes crazy, hitting both luchas, flying fists. Gets a whisper in the wind. Matt hits a twist of fate. Jeff climbs the top rope, hits a swanton. Hardy Boys celebrate, shake Lucha Party's hands.
All right, well, I guess that wraps that up for last week. So that means we will dive into the November 23rd edition of the Monday Night Wars, Week 4, here for Jakk'd and Overdrive. And I went first last week, so on the other side of this break, we're going to dive right in to Overdrive. Sound like a plan?
Yeah, I have some reservations, but yeah, we'll do it.
All right, well, on the other end of this break, you're going to hear some Billy Idol. And nobody talks that way to Billy Idol.
Damn right.
That's my second Sandler or Farley reference of the podcast. All right, so let's hit the break.
All right, we are live, 6 days away from Ignition. All 4 men in the tournament for the Overdrive World Title will be in action tonight, but we start off the night with the United States Champion. Was out first. He grabs a mic, says, AJ, let me understand this. I beat you for the title last week. You take a week off. You come back, beat a glorified loser. All of a sudden, you're the number 1 contender. You must do a really good job of kissing the boss's ass, but rest assured, this Sunday, your ass is going to get kicked. Now bring out my victim. All of a sudden, the Lucha House Party music hits. Grand Metal League comes out as we go to commercial break. Sorry, I didn't have the Lucha House Party music ready, but no big deal. All right, back, Segment 2, back in commercial, and the match is in progress. Metal League uses high-flying moves on Ciampa and has him stunned. As Metal League has Ciampa up for the metallic Metal League driver, Ciampa pulls Metal League's mask around the side to cover his eyes. Ciampa takes advantage of this, hits the fairy tale ending for the win. Ciampa rolls outside, grabs a steel chair, and starts to beat up Metal League after the match as Lindsay Dorado comes in to make the save. As he lays out Lindsay as well. AJ Styles hits the ring. Ciampa retreats, holding up the U.S. title, waving bye. All right, segment 3. We see an interview in the back with Shelton Benjamin. He talks about how he's winless on the Overdrive brand and how he feels like a loser. He promises that things are going to change for the gold standard very soon, and that he has his eyes on the United States title. Championship, huh? All right. Segment 4. Andrade enters. As he's entering, Matt Riddle is walking down behind him. He goes to the announce table to do commentary. All right, Cedric Alexander is out. Oh, we go to commercial. We're coming back from commercial. We hear Matt Riddle on commentary. saying he wants to know why his Mexa bro Andrade is so angry and why there's nothing wrong with losing. And does it not matter if he wins or loses, but unfortunately he's going to lose again this Sunday night. During a moment where Cedric is down, Andrade starts yelling in Spanish at Matt Riddle from the ring. Matt Riddle stands up and starts his bro dancing on the table. The referee is trying to tell Andrade to focus on Cedric. Andrade shoves the ref aside, hops out of the ring to confront Riddle. The two start arguing as the referee is counting. Referee points at the ring. As the ref hits 9, Andrade barely gets in, beats the count, gets caught by Cedric with a lumbar check for the win. Riddle laughs at Andrade and leaves with Cedric. All right. Seg 6. Elias is in the ring, reminding us all that he can't perform because that stupid Hurricane is off playing games with his $1 million guitar. Drake Maverick's music hits, of course, and he comes out, enters. We have a match all of a sudden. Before the match starts, Drake tells Elias that Hurricane is in the building with Elias' guitar. Elias demands Hurricane come out with the guitar. Maverick reminds Elias the only way to get it back is if he wins on Sunday. Elias attacks Drake and throws him around the ring. He hits stripped away for the win. Hurricane runs down to check on Drake. Elias holds Drake up to taunt Hurricane and hits another drift away and ducks out of the ring before the Hurricane can touch him. All right. Segment 7. Baron Corbin is in the back on his phone complaining to somebody about unsafe working environment on Overdrive and about Ciampa being a very violent man who needs to be locked away. He says he's going to demand to speak to the GM next week when he is the Overdrive World Champion. We see Ciampa at the door listening in on the entire conversation and smiling. Segment 8. All right, we have the final new debut on Overdrive. It is Cesaro. He says people seem to have forgotten the Swiss Superman was on Overdrive and says he is challenging anybody in the back to try to ruin. Matt Riddle's music hits, and he struts out. He says he's never had a Swiss bro, and Cesaro would be the perfect first one. Cesaro laughs and says, let's see how you fight, and the match begins. As we get going, Andrade walks to the ring. This distracts Cesaro, though, who tells Andrade to leave. Cesaro turns around and gets hit with a Riddle knee. Riddle tells Andrade to leave. It goes to the top rope for the floating bro. Andrade approaches. Riddle freezes. It freezes Riddle for a second. As he leaps in a Swiss death in midair. He then gets hit with a neutralizer, and Cesaro wins. Segment 9. We get a rundown of Ignition. All 4 men in the semifinals will face off at the winners meeting in a 30-minute Iron Man match. Also that night, AJ Styles versus Tommaso Ciampa for the U.S. title. Elias versus the Hurricane. The Major Brothers make their debut, and just announced Matt Riddle versus Andrade. All right, segment 10. Pete Dunne is out, and his tag team partner. Is Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa in the ring, waiting for their opponents. Right, out first is followed by his tag team partner for the night. All right. So it's Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne against Bobby Roode and Baron Corbin. Corbin gets on the mic, says he's only in this because he's being forced against his will. Bobby Roode takes the mic and says that everybody is sick and tired of Corbin and is crying. He says Corbin better hope he doesn't match up with Roode first on Sunday. They get into each other's face. We have a stare-off. Gargano and Dunne are tired of waiting and attack as we fade to commercial break. Segment 11. Back from commercial break, Dunne and Roode are in the ring. Dunne is beating away on Roode and tags out to the fresh Gargano. Roode is on his knees. Gargano starts kicking away as Corey Graves refers to them as the world-famous yes kicks. Johnny misses one, and Roode grabs his ankle, pulling him forward, tripping him up. Roode crawls to the corner to tag Corbin, who has his hand extended. As Roode gets there, Corbin jumps off the apron, leaving Roode alone. Corbin starts to walk away, but as he gets midway up the ramp, Tommaso Ciampa walks down, backing Corbin to the ring. He continues to follow Corbin around the ring as Corbin jumps back on the apron. Root slaps Corbin on the back, tagging himself in, and brings Corbin in the hard way. Pete Dunne, now the legal man, hits Corbin with the bitter end for the 3 count. Dunne and Gargano kind of celebrate, but realize they may be facing off this Sunday. Tensions start to rise as they leave. Corbin, still down in the ring, demands a mic. He stands up and says he doesn't need Bobby Roode or anybody else because he's going to win the Overdrive Championship. As he's getting ready to leave, Tommaso Ciampa attacks the chair, laying Corbin out again. We fade to black with Ciampa standing tall, holding the United States Championship high.
All right.
And scene.
Nice. That is hell of a go-home edition.
I'm trying to build up the United States title to be a major title.
That would be a nice a nice change. Obviously, I don't have any titles introduced so far, but next month is all going to be about that. I'm trying to make the junior heavyweight division fairly important as well. Obviously, I don't have a huge roster of juniors, so this is, there's only so much I can do with that. Either way.
I mean,
all right.
As long as one title's featured, at least, that's what I say.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to make all of them meaningful and all of it. It's not just, bro, it's just a prop, bro. I'm not trying to.
Nobody cares about championships, bro.
Goddamn championship opportunity, not title shot. God dang it. I don't know. That always strikes me. It's like, who cares? But either way. All right, man. Well, that means there's only one show left before the pay-per-views, and it's Jakk'd. So, on the other side of this break, I'm going to hit the Daughtry, and we're going to get into it. All right, it's the go-home edition of Jakk'd right before the pay-per-view, Rage in a Cage. And we're starting the action off tonight with a heavyweight title tournament. It's Shawn Michaels, and he's coming out with his still friend after they made up. It is Shawn with Big Daddy Cool Diesel in his corner, and he's taking on Shawn Michaels versus the Hitman, Bret Hart. We're kicking off the night with a grudge match here. Shawn and Diesel start the match with a big high five, that one where Shawn always has to jump up to smack Diesel's hand because he's too short. And then they give each other the too sweet, and Diesel gets out the ring to basically be Shawn's bodyguard again. But Shawn and Bret have an absolute classic for about 15 minutes. Diesel looks like he may grab Bret at one point, and Bret leans over the top rope to yell at him. This allows Shawn to drop kick Bret out of the ring. When Bret stands up, Shawn slingshots out on top of him over the top rope, and we go to our first commercial break of the night. Seg 2. The match continues. Bret's back in control, coming back from the break, taking apart Shawn's lower back and his legs. He whips Shawn into the corner, runs in, gets a boot to the face. Shawn then jumps into the corner and dives off with a crossbody, but Shawn collides with both Bret and the referee. Both men are up now, Shawn and Bret, and Shawn musters up just enough strength to hit sweet chin music on Bret before collapsing on top of him. But the ref is out. The crowd chants 1, 2, 3, 4. They keep going, but the ref is still down. Diesel gets frustrated, and he finally gets in the ring. He checks on the ref, who just won't wake up. So he goes over to tell Shawn, and he picks Shawn up, and he knees Shawn right in the gut. And he signals the crowd's going wild, and he hits a jackknife powerbomb on Shawn. He glares down at HBK as the crowd boos. Diesel gets out of the ring. as Brett gets back up. He doesn't know what happened. He gets back up and he sees Shawn, and he picks Shawn up and he hits a pile driver, and he pins him as the ref finally comes to 1, 2, 3. Brett wins. Brett rolls out of the ring as Diesel climbs back in. He picks Shawn up and he hits another jackknife as the crowd boos louder and throws garbage into the ring. He picks Shawn up and hits a third jackknife before a bunch of referees hit the ring, and they finally talk the big man into leaving. But Bret Hart is moving on to the next round of the heavyweight title tournament. Seg 3. Backstage, Armando Alejandro Estrada is standing by with the British Bulldog, who's all smiles. Estrada tells everyone at home that Jakk'd Commissioner Eric Bischoff has booked a 3-team elimination match for Rage in the Cage. The winning team will get a tag team title match in the future. He says that the first team will be the loser of the New Age Outlaws versus Dudley Boys match here tonight. The second team is a mystery team fighting for a job in the main event Figure Federation. And then the third team is the British Bulldog and his mystery partner. He asks Bulldog's opinion on all this. Bulldog says, "I've had one chance at the tag titles. My partner's head wasn't in the game. I had a chance at the television title, but I was screwed over again by the Hollywood Blondes. This time, I've got the best partner I could possibly ask for. He'll be filling out the 30th roster spot here on Jakk'd if we win, and I'm excited to go into battle with this man again." And Armando said, "You said again, so is this someone from your past? Who is this mystery partner of yours?" And Bulldog says, "I'll never tell. That's part of my strategy. Much like Owen Hart, he's going to make his presence known when I introduce him to the world this Sunday at Rage in a Cage. Then we're going to face the newly crowned Jakk'd Tag-Team Champions and make sure their reign is very short-lived." And the Bulldog nods to Estrada. He walks off to his locker room as we go to another commercial break. And for all of you out there, the British people, if we have any British listeners, I apologize for that attempt at a British accent.
Yeah.
It's the best I could do. Give me a break.
You could just not do it.
No. I'm getting into it, Greg. It's how I get into it. All right. Next match here is a Jakk'd World Tag Team Title Tournament match. First, we get the Hollywood Blondes come out. The crowd boos loudly, and their opponents. It's the Axe. It's the Smasher. It's Demolition. So we got another Jakk'd World Tag Team Title Tournament match here. The Blondes put on a heck of a fight, but they do the typical monster baby faces versus smaller heels match, bumping all over for Demolition. The Blondes only get short advantages through distractions and such and various double team moves, but Demolition keeps cutting off their momentum. Finally, Pillman goes for a diving crossbody, but he's caught by Smash, and he's dropped with a rib breaker. Smash holds him in place, and Axe dives off the middle rope for the decapitator, leading to a pinfall victory for Demolition. Demolition moves on to the finals of the tag team title tournament.
I'm really glad, by the way, you specify who's using that music when the Hollywood Blondes come out, because it could easily be Greg Valentine or Marty Jannetty.
Wait, they used that song?
They did.
Ew. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Can you imagine Marty Jannetty running out to the ring, rocker style, to that music? Because he did.
That doesn't sound anything. That's the equivalent of Pat Tanaka coming out to Goldberg's theme. Like, yeah, right. What? By the way, which did happen, by the way. Go just look it up on YouTube. Pat Tanaka comes out to Goldberg's theme. He came out to it before Goldberg was even a thought, but yuck. All right. Well, now you're ruining that song for me, Greg. Damn it.
Sorry. What the hell's wrong with Marty Jannetty using it? Anyways, move on.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? All right, Seg 5. Don Callis sees Ric Flair finishing his coffee and catering, and he approaches him quickly, and he asks what his plans are when he goes one-on-one with the Olympic gold medalist. Ric Flair says, Don, Kurt Angle himself, or calls himself a wrestling machine, but he's not. He's just a man. Me, on the other hand, I run on fast women, fast cars, strong liquor, and gold. Kurt's about the only guy on the roster that can keep up with me, and you'd better believe I'm going to wear his ass out. Sting then walks by, and Rick spots him. He goes to get himself some coffee as well. Rick gives him a cocky smile before walking up and tapping him on the shoulder. He says, so you got the hitman at the pay-per-view, huh? You still think you got what it takes to get the job done? Brett looks hungry, and I'm pretty sure you'll paint up and howl and beat your chest better than anyone. All I can say is that if you can get the job done against Hart, I'll have to show you up yet again. Sting says, Rick, you might want to worry about Kurt Angle tonight. I've got Bret Hart taken care of this Sunday. As for you, I'm wondering if you still have it in you to take him on. Flair says, Sting, don't you dare question my gas tank and who I can take on and take out. You know better than anyone what I can do in the ring when the pressure is on. Sting says, yeah, I know, and I've beaten you just about every single time we've went head-to-head. And if you manage to somehow beat Kurt Angle tonight, I'm going to take out Bret Hart at Rage in a Cage, and I'll beat you again. And Flair says, well, since you're so damn confident, if you want a bird's eye view of what you or Bret will take on in the next round, come sit at the commentary desk for my match. Sting says, I may do just that, Nature Boy. And we go to a commercial break. Up next, Jakk'd Heavyweight Title Tournament, bro. Again, first we get it's the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, the wrestling machine. And he's taking on the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And after he's done strutting it up with his entrance and getting ready, they're about ready to do battle, and then we hear the little stingers are going crazy. Sting comes on out, howling at the moon as they go nuts, and he walks his way to the commentary table with Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler to watch what's going to go on in this epic match. Rick and Kurt go hold for hold, and Kurt out-wrestles Flair at just about every turn. However, Flair does get a few advantages when he uses underhanded punches, eye rakes, and eye pokes, getting all, dirtiest player in the game about it. Flair beats up on Angle's legs and repeatedly wraps his left leg around the ring post. Angle kicks Flair off of a figure four attempt into the corner, then hits an Angle slam for a near fall. Kurt locks in the ankle lock and holds it on for a while, but Flair manages to climb out of the ring completely. Angle leans out and gets hot-shotted over the middle rope, stumbles back, and knocks the referee down. Flair grabs a steel chair and slides in, rears the chair back, but Sting, ever the vigilante, he hops onto the apron, he takes the chair out of Flair's hands. Flair glares at him in anger. Angle hits another Angle slam on the distracted Ric Flair, but the referee is down. Still, Angle poises, waits for Flair to get up. Flair, and he takes the straps down. Flair crawls up and into the corner, and without Angle knowing it, unties the top turnbuckle pad. Angle hits a German suplex on Flair as Flair rips the pad off as he goes flying. Angle locks in the ankle lock yet again before Flair rolls through with it, and Angle's face smacks the exposed steel of the top turnbuckle. Flair then low blows Angle, rolls him up, and holds the singlet as the referee finally comes to, and he doesn't see it. He makes the count. 1, 2, 3. Flair wins by hook and crook. Ric Flair wins this match. He's going on to the next round of the title tournament. Sting couldn't stop him. Flair rolls out of the ring quickly, and he smiles in satisfaction as he stumbles to the back. Sting smacks the mat in frustration before he leaves as well. Security helps Kurt Angle to the back as the crowd boos. They do not approve. All right.
Probably because Sting didn't do this and that.
Well, he did this, but when he went for that, it didn't work out. So, yeah, they only got half of it. But, at the end of the day, he's still strong as a bull and as quick as a cat. So at least got that.
We got them all in. Cool.
Yep. Oh, my gosh. All right, or he's strong as a bull, he'll hit you with his bat. That's the updated version.
Oh, man.
But now, over the speakers...
By the way, what Sting figure are you using?
The TNA came out with... Do you remember when TNA came out with a line when they first went to Jakk's? They had, Legends figures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Sting and his... I sent you a picture of him. He's got, blue tights and...
Yeah, the blue one. Okay.
Yeah, blue and orange face paint. Yeah, so that's actually one of my favorite Sting figures ever. I have a Mattel of the where he's in the red, white, and blue, but obviously I can't use that one.
Yeah, that's his Great American Bash one. I have that one too.
Yeah, that's one of my pride and joy figures. But all right, over the speakers, all of a sudden we hear. Oh man! At the commentary table, Jerry the King Lawler stands up from his position. And he grabs a microphone, climbs into the ring as the crowd boos. Lawler gets on the mic. He says, 2 weeks ago, that lunatic Sting jumped me early. He threw me off guard, and he cheated me out of a shot at the Jakk'd Heavyweight Title. Tonight, I was forced to sit next to him throughout that last match, but that's fine, because I'm making another title opportunity for myself. Tonight, I'm inviting anyone from the back with some availability to come out here and take me on for the second of 3 spots in the TV title triple threat coming up at the end of the month. After a long pause, we all of a sudden hear... Rob Van Dam debuted to not a whole lot of fanfare and a squash by The Undertaker on the first episode of Jakk'd. He comes to the ring, and Lawler says, Rob Van Dam, I thought The Undertaker killed you 3 weeks ago. I said anyone with availability can challenge me. Don't you have a 4:20 appointment you're busy slacking off to get ready for? RVD says, King dude, I've got nothing but time. You want to open your mouth? I'll be happy to put my foot in it. And I feel you about getting thrown off of your match. It's true that I wasn't ready for The Undertaker 3 weeks ago, but crap happens. Like a joint, life rolls on. And this week, I'm going to make my own destiny. Because, do you want to know who the most famous television champion in ECW history was? It was Rob Van, and Lawler cuts him off. He says, who cares about extremely crappy wrestling? Saying you were the best champion in ECW history is like saying you were the nicest guy in prison or the least dirty pig in the sty. But if you want to take me on, that's fine by me. Let's see if you can actually beat me fair and square without using all your little toys around ringside. Ring the bell. So Seg 8 is Rob Van Dam versus Jerry the King Lawler. TV title, triple threat qualifying match. This is actually I misspoke earlier. Last spot in the triple threat, because if anybody remembers, it is Mr. Perfect qualified earlier in the month, Stunning Steve qualified earlier in the night. Now it's either going to be Van Dam or Lawler. But this is battle of fists versus feet in a straight brawling versus karate match. The match goes about 7 minutes until RVD reverses a pile driver attempt into a Hurricane Rana. When Lawler gets back up, RVD nails a side kick, laying him out. He then hops onto the top rope, and he hits a 5-star frog splash on the King for the win. Rob Van Dam qualifies. He's the third man. He's the third man in that triple threat match next week on Jakk'd.
I really thought you were going to go with Mabel as a third man.
Well, if I had a Jakk'd figure of, or a Jakk's figure of him, Greg, I would consider it, but I actually would consider that because that would be hilarious. I could finally say that Mabel is the third man. But, all right. Anyway, getting close to the end of the show here. It is Seg 9 is the Jakk'd World Tag Title Tournament. First up, we've got... the Dudley Boys come out with all their pyro and with Paul Heyman by their side, swinging his ponytail back and forth like he used to do, wearing his New York Yankees hat. And for some reason, his like VIP badge on a lanyard. I never understood that one. But either way, it's neither here nor there. Next up, their opponents.
You didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
It's B. Jizzle, the Road Dogg, Jesse James, and the Badass, Billy Gunn. It's the Dudleys and the New Age Outlaws. I actually always wanted to see this match in real life. Never happened, but here we go. Anyway, the Outlaws use strategy and their experience to out-wrestle the Dudleys for most of the match, but the Dudleys proved to be just too strong for the Outlaws. Billy Gunn goes for the one and only on Bubba Ray, but Bubba stomps on his foot and he hits the Bubba Cutter. Road Dogg runs in and breaks up the pin attempt, but Devon runs in and clotheslines him outside of the ring. Bubba Irish whips Billy into the ropes. He comes back, and the Dudley Boys connect with 3D for the pinfall victory. After the match, they're celebrating, and then Demolition runs down behind them. Paul Heyman tries to warn them, but it's a little too late. They brawl all over the place, all over ringside, beating each other up. But Smash gets tossed out of the ring at one point, and they're about to hit the 3D on Axe. But when Axe hits the rope, Smash grabs Axe's foot, and he pulls him down, and he yanks him out of the ring. The teams yell at each other as Demolition leaves, and we go to commercial break. So building up for that match, it is going to be Demolition and the Dudleys at Rage in a Cage. All right. Seg 10. It is our main event of the evening. It is the Jakk'd World Heavyweight Title Tournament. First off,
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
The Rock, finally, The Rock has come back to Jakk'd in the main event, and his opponent. Paul Bearer comes out first with the urn, rubbing it seductively. And The Undertaker marches out behind him. He's wearing the gray gloves and gray spats. Got the mullet and the red beard. So that's the Undertaker we're dealing with right here. But it's the Undertaker versus The Rock, Jakk'd Heavyweight Title Tournament. The two men get into a fist fight and brawl all over. The crowd is super hot for this, cheering both men. About 9 minutes in, Mankind stumbles his way to the ring, looking as nuts as ever, and he jumps onto the apron to yell at The Rock. The Rock yells back at him, and The Undertaker charges, but The Rock moves, and The Undertaker boots Mankind off of the apron, getting his foot caught on the top rope in the process. Rock spins him around, hits rock bottom on The Undertaker for the 1, 2, no, near fall. Undertaker sits up, and The Rock looks stunned for a second, but he tries for another rock bottom. This gets reversed into a chokeslam from The Undertaker. This goes into a pin, 1, 2, near fall. Undertaker starts to do the throat slit taunt as Mankind slides a chair into the ring. Paul Bearer struggles to hold Mankind back, but Mankind shoves Paul onto his butt. Undertaker sees this, and he goes out and repeatedly punches Mankind in the face until he's down and out. Undertaker slides back in. The Rock hits his spine buster. He goes for people's elbow. But right when he's about to drop the elbow, Undertaker sits up. but The Rock is able to grab him and hit a rock bottom. Undertaker struggles to sit up, so The Rock pulls him up and he hits a third rock bottom, followed by the People's Elbow for the 1, 2, 3. The Rock wins. And now that bleeds into segment 11. After the match, Mankind rolls in with a steel folding chair from earlier. The Rock sees this and decides he's done with this, and he leaves. Mankind picks up the chair above his head and he beats The Undertaker down with it over and over until the lights drop. The gong then sounds. After a while, the lights come back on, and The Undertaker is gone. Paul Bearer is gone. Mankind's left holding a chair in the center of the ring as confusion sets over the crowd, and the arena is abuzz. And we come to an end of the show with a montage of what's to come at Rage in a Cage. End of show.
I like that. Especially the name.
Yeah, I tried to not end it. I mean, yeah, it was a schmoz. I try not to purposely book like the Attitude Era, but I find myself falling into a lot of like brawls and screwed finishes and whatever. But in my defense, I'm setting up for future storylines with that kind of stuff, and it's my first month in, so I think things will get a little bit more straightforward in the future. But I could be wrong.
Do you find yourself struggling to read your own notes too, even though they're like really organized?
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed. I stumbled.
No, same. I did too. I'm like, I have it written out. I have it in my head how it's supposed to sound, and I just don't verbally produce it correctly. I don't know why. Like I have it written out. Like it's all enunciated. It's all there's periods, commas, capitals, everything, and I just still stumble over it.
Yeah, I know. I do that like with literally like just this. Like when I do the main event marks, it's different. Like
no, it's because we're just talking.
Yeah, like I don't stumble that much with main event marks. So if and I try to clean stuff up on here, but I don't try to overproduce it because I mean people can tell and it doesn't sound as good. And like Greg pointed out before, it's just for fun. If we start to get paid for it, I might put more effort into the production. But as it is, I'm already spending a lot of time editing multiple podcasts a week. So that's what it is, man. Yeah, I don't know. Real quick, is for the wrap up here. Now I can officially announce some of the matches here, and I will.
Wow, how TNA of you?
Yeah, well, some of these were I would have announced them because I don't like announcing the week of the pay-per-view what's coming up. I like doing it at least 2 weeks ahead of time. But
I think it's fine as long as you can see it was clear as day. This is going to be it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. The nature of tournaments is you can't announce matches ahead of time. Wow.
Yeah, that's partially why I'm keeping my semifinals a secret, so nobody knows what the matches are. Of course, There's only really one surprise because once one plays out, the other one's going to be. So, still.
And like I said, I will post graphics for the upcoming matches. So look out for those. Hopefully, they get you hyped and help you to stay hype for the pay-per-views. I had to get my One Mojo reference in. Come on. Yeah, real quick.
That's not a thing.
It is a thing.
My one. Get that in.
I got to. It's like the Sandler stuff.
No, that's actually funny. Mojo's a joke.
Which, by nature, is funny.
By definition, yes. But,
yeah, so there you go.
Via loophole, I guess you can have this win, but still.
There you go. I win! I guess. I win suckage, but either way. All right, the official announced matches that I have so far, and I'm not saying which matches are in the cage, which are not in the cage, except for one I specifically said will be a cage match, and that is going to be the Junior Heavyweight Title match. It's a Fatal 4-Way cage match between Flying Brian Pillman, Rey Mysterio, and Chris Jericho, and Owen Hart. I've also got in the
crazy-ass foursome.
I know, right? That's something I would pay real money in real life to see. And I will say, because you said you had like multiple drafts and you're like, I don't know which one I'm going to go with. That's the only match that I changed at the last minute because I was like, okay, the winner is this guy. And then at the last minute, I'm like, I think it'll be more fun if the winner is this guy. So Yeah, I'm going to keep you guessing. But either way, I didn't even know who the winner was going to be until like a couple days ago. But I also have a couple tournament matches, bro. The heavyweight title tournament rolls on. We got Bret Hart versus Sting. I teased earlier. Now that we know that Bret is moving on in the tournament because of Diesel.
Man, what a turn!
I think, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that one was fairly obvious to the point of where I considered, I was like, do I want to have Shawn turn on him just to be less predictable? And I was like, nah, I've got plans. I don't want to be unpredictable for the sake of being unpredictable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So I've got the finals of the tag title tournament. We are crowning our first ever tag champions. It's Demolition and the Dudley Boys, two of my favorite tag teams of all time. We've got the triple threat, or it's going to be a 3-team elimination match. The winners are number one contenders for the tag titles. It's going to be the New Age Outlaws now that they officially lost there in the match. They're going to be taking on a mystery team and the British Bulldog and his mystery partner, who is, like I said, if they win, this guy is going to fill out my roster as number 30. So that's going to be my last and my supplemental draft. Also on the slate for the night, we have Hulk Hogan versus The Rock in the Jakk'd Heavyweight Title tournament. So that's all filling stuff out on the night. I've only got 5 matches. Not a big card, but when you've got 3 cage matches and a couple multi-man matches, I mean, by nature, it's matches are going to be longer. So that would...
quick question: which one of your matches has a pole in it?
All of them.
Okay, just making sure. We got to get that in.
Cage and a pole in a cage, pole on a pole. I want to have a pole on a pole match, just cause. But yeah, so those are the matches I've got booked. Like I said, only 5 on the night, but in real life, those would be long matches. And when you're already making 3 of them in a cage, it is what it is. I think, when I lay that card out, you can probably figure out what other 2 matches are going to be in a cage, but I don't know. All right, man. Well, that does it for our Go Home edition. That's 4 weeks of TV down, man. This Sunday, we got Ignition for Overdrive. We've got Rage in a Cage for Jakk'd. And then next Monday on the 30th, it'll be all the Fallout. And I'm going to have, the only match I have official for that card so far that's out there is my triple threat for the TV title. Mr. Perfect, Stunning Steve Austin, and Rob Van Dam.
I can't believe it's not Jerry Lawler.
Yo, I know. Mr. Perfect, Stunning Steve, and Jerry Lawler. I actually think that would be a good match. But, I mean, come on. Got to throw RVD in there. All right, man. Anything else you have to say to pump up the pay-per-view, or just...
Yes, tune in.
Yeah, there you go.
Get your popcorn.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see.
There's nothing else to do in this world right now.
I know. What are you going to do? Celebrate the holiday with your family? Screw that.
We should drop this on a Thursday just to see.
My God. Yeah, well, for all of you, we do have the main event marks it drops every single Wednesday. So if you don't catch it on Wednesday, you can always save it for Thursday. If you're not
listen to it during the Lions game when they're losing.
God dang it, you took my joke. I was going to say, instead of watching the Cowboys or the Lions lose, you can always listen to us. Or you can multitask. Yeah.
I mean, joke. Clearly,
reality, whatever. But yeah, if you want to catch up,
laugh because our teams are doing well. So, haha.
I know, right? But yeah, so this week coming up in 2 days, we're dropping Survivor Series 2006. We've already recorded the show, not to spoil anything, and it was very interesting. It was from a somewhat passed over era of WWE, I would say. Like, not a lot of people.
Yeah, the ECW era, man, in WWE. That was.
God, yeah.
It was the beginning of it.
It was literally a week before December to Dismember, which was
like the pay-per-view that started collapsing.
I was going to say, which ironically enough is a show that dismembered that brand. So, or at least Paul Heyman's third career in WWE.
And retired the Big Show, right?
Yeah, for a moment. Catch up on the bonus show that dropped this past Friday. Jacob Ronde was on, like I said, at Survivor Series 1987. The significance of that, it was the first one, and every match on the card was a Survivor Series elimination match.
So there only 4 matches too?
Yes. Yep. Every match was 20+ minutes. There was 2 that were men's singles teams. There was one that was a women's singles team, and then another one that was tag teams. So it was literally 10 on 10.
I think there was a 30 on 30 in there somewhere too.
Well, we'll see you all this Sunday, and like I said, tune in for Survivor Series 2006. It was the 20th Survivor Series in history. That's dropping on Wednesday. And as always, subscribe to us on social media. On Twitter and Instagram, we're at main event _marks. We'll see you all this Sunday. Later on.